Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're embarking on a truly fascinating journey together. We're going to take what often feels like this impossible, totally intimidating mountain, the whole process of academic research, and we're going to break it down into a super accessible, step-by-step expedition. We'll be tracing the architect's roadmap, charting the course from just a simple, flickering idea in your head all the way to a fully published academic paper. So think of me as your expedition guide as we navigate this terrain. Okay, let's dive into this by confronting a massive elephant in the room right off the bat. Is research only for experienced professors or folks with PhDs? There's this incredibly pervasive myth out there that contributing to human knowledge is some exclusive VIP club, completely closed off to anyone who doesn't have decades of academic pedigree. Well, we're going to bust that myth right now. Because the truth is, literally anyone can start. Whether you're an undergrad, a master's student, working in the industry, or just someone who is deeply, genuinely curious about how the world works, you have what it takes. The only true prerequisites for starting a research project are genuine sense of curiosity and a meaningful problem that you actually want to solve. You don't need to know the whole shebang from the beginning. You just need the willingness to ask questions and follow the right methodology. So, as your guide, here is our map for today. We're going to follow a 5-phase chronological roadmap. First, the research mindset. Second, finding the missing piece. Third, designing and executing. Fourth, writing and ethics. And finally, number 5, the publication journey. All right, let's kick things off with phase 1, the research mindset, preparing for the journey. Before you collect a single data point, you've got to have the right goal in mind. Research isn't just reading a bunch of Wikipedia articles and summarizing what's already out there. It's a systematic process of investigating a problem to generate entirely new knowledge. Whether you're trying to develop a better machine learning model, investigating innovative healthcare solutions, or creating some new energy-efficient system, your ultimate goal is discovery. You are trying to find something that literally wasn't known before you started looking. Moving right along to phase 2, finding the missing piece, often called the gap. And this brilliantly illustrates the next step. Once you have that mindset locked in, you have to find a highly specific target. You can't just say, I'm going to research artificial intelligence. You'll get completely lost in the woods. Instead, you need a specific, actionable problem. Something like, can machine learning improve crop disease detection using smartphone images? A clear, well-defined question like that is your absolute foundation. Now, to refine that specific question, you've got to do a literature review. And creating a matrix, tracking the author, year, methodology, and limitations of previous papers is going to be your absolute best friend here. You're effectively mapping out the existing terrain so you don't accidentally duplicate work someone else has already done. By analyzing the limitations in that table you just made, you're going to uncover what we call the research gap. Think of human knowledge as this giant puzzle. The gap is the missing piece that your specific project is going to fill. Maybe previous studies used really small data sets, or maybe they had low accuracy in real-world conditions, or their methods were just way too computationally expensive. Finding and filling that specific gap, that becomes your unique contribution to society. Which brings us to phase 3, designing and executing. Time for the fieldwork. This is where your plans finally meet the real world. Your fieldwork is generally going to follow these 3 overarching steps: data collection, experimentation, and data analysis. Now, this flow is incredibly important because a well-defined and strictly followed methodology is exactly how you build credibility. It ensures your research is reproducible, meaning someone else could follow your exact steps and get the exact same results. But wait, before you can analyze anything, you have to face what I like to call the boss battle of the research journey: data preparation. Removing errors, handling missing values, standardizing formats, researchers spend a huge, honestly sometimes surprising amount of time just cleaning their data. I really want you to expect this going in. It's completely normal and it's absolutely vital because high-quality, clean data is literally the only way to get reliable, trustworthy results. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the golden rule it lays out for the analysis phase. Research integrity is far more important than achieving positive outcomes. Your experiment might completely fail. Your hypothesis might be entirely wrong, but you must never, ever manipulate your results to look successful. A negative result is still a valid result, right? It's still new knowledge. Honesty and transparency are the true hallmarks of a great researcher. Okay, we're on to phase 4, writing and ethics. Documenting your discovery.
So, with your data analyzed, you need to translate months of hard work into a structured scientific paper. Thankfully, you don't need to invent a new format for this. Just follow the standard academic blueprint, starting with a concise abstract that summarizes the whole project, moving down through your methodology to your conclusion and references. Remember, scientific writing isn't about using the biggest, fanciest words possible. It must always be clear, precise, objective, and entirely based on the evidence you gathered.
And while you're writing, there is one ethical boundary you must absolutely never cross: plagiarism. It is one of the most serious academic violations out there. You have to cite your sources properly, use quotations when needed, and please, never just copy and paste text from published papers. Your research paper needs to be a reflection of your own unique contribution to the field. So give credit where it's due and let your own voice and findings take the spotlight. And finally, we arrive at Phase 5, the publication journey, sharing it all with the world. Your paper is written, and now you have to navigate the somewhat daunting peer review process. Once you submit it to a journal or conference, experts in your field will evaluate your work, leading to one of 4 possible outcomes. Now, I want to draw your attention specifically to rejection here, because I need to normalize this for you right now. Rejection is incredibly common. Even the most famous, highly successful researchers experience multiple rejections. If it happens to you, do not take it personally. It's simply part of the rugged terrain of the academic landscape. If you get a revision request, or even if you're rejected and you're planning to submit it somewhere else, you've got to treat the reviewer's comments not as personal criticisms, but as golden opportunities for improvement. The real secret to eventual acceptance is a detailed response document. You want to address every single comment professionally, explain your modifications, provide evidence, and update your manuscript. That meticulous attention to feedback is exactly what will ultimately get your research published and visible to the world. Well, we've reached the end of the architect's roadmap, and now I'm turning the journey over to you. So here's my question. What missing piece of knowledge will you contribute? Every single published researcher out there started exactly where you are sitting right now, as a beginner. So I challenge you to find an area you're truly passionate about, start asking those specific questions, and begin exploring. Keep learning, keep researching, and honestly, I absolutely cannot wait to see what you discover.